Hallmark is committed to a drug-free workplace. As managers, it is important to provide a safe, healthful, and efficient working environment for all of our employees. Hallmark strictly prohibits the manufacturing, possession, or being under the influence of alcohol or illegally used controlled substances, including prescription medications, while engaged in company activities. To that end, we implemented substance abuse testing in June of 2009. This is one component of our pre-screening process, which includes OIG, license verification, and employment interviews. Before you administer a substance abuse test, remember that you want to make the applicant feel comfortable. They should feel as though you are familiar and confident in the steps that you will take while administering the test. Practicing the test prior to the applicant's site visit may be a good idea if you're doing this for the first time. The first step in our process begins with filling out the appropriate forms. Applicants must complete and sign the disclosure and consent to obtain information and consumer reporting agency forms. Again, these forms must be filled out prior to the substance abuse test and will become part of the employment paperwork. Next, you will complete the Crowell Care Chain of Custody form included with the substance abuse test kit. Let's review each section of this form. Section 1 should be pre-printed. The boxes above the facility number should remain blank.
Get your Social Security number.
Also in Section 1, the applicant must provide their information. Next, mark pre-employment and the reason for the test section. In Section 2, the temperature section should remain blank. Section 3 should be pre-printed. The boxes above collector number should remain blank. As the collector, you should always print and sign your name and document the date and time of the collection. In Section 4, additionally, the applicant will need to fill out Section 5 of the Chain of Custody form, and also the applicant will need to initial the AB adhesive strip. You will complete Section 6 after conducting the substance abuse test and confirming the results. Now that the forms are completed and signed, you may conduct the test. Be sure to review and familiarize yourself with the directions on the procedure card before conducting the test. Also, it is important to conduct the test in a secure and private location.
Before we start, have you had anything in your mouth?
Ask your applicant if they've had anything in their mouth within the last 10 minutes. This includes any food, drink, gum, candy, or tobacco. This can cause an invalid test result. If the answer is yes, refrain from taking the test for 10 minutes, then proceed. To begin the test, have the applicant insert the collector sponge in their mouth. It is essential that the collector sponge be completely saturated with the applicant's saliva. This can be accomplished by having the candidate pretend to talk while the sponge is in their mouth. The talking movement of the mouth helps create more saliva. Have the applicant leave the sponge in their mouth 30 seconds to 1 minute over the suggested 3-minute time listed on the procedure card. The sponge will become very soft when there is enough saliva collected to conduct the test. Once you are sure that the collector sponge is saturated, you will insert the sponge into the testing device. At this time, you should thank your applicant for coming in and dismiss them from the testing area. Your applicant nor any other employee should be present when reading the results of the test. After the applicant is dismissed, push the collector down into the chamber securely. Next, you'll turn the collector clockwise to lock it into the chamber. Wait 1 minute, then rotate the chamber 90 degrees counterclockwise and wait 9 minutes. After the wait time, you will read and document the results of the test in Section 6 on the Chain of Custody form. Reading the result is a simple process. The collector device has 2 sections above the collection chamber. The first result you will read is the control or C line on both sections of the device. If Section C is blank, the test is invalid. If you receive an invalid result, you will need to conduct the test again. Negative results are reflected with solid lines for each substance noted. Even if the lines are light in color, the test results are negative. A negative result allows us to proceed with the next steps in the pre-employment process. If you receive a negative result, you are to fax the chain of custody form, the disclosure and consent form, and consumer reporting agency form to your recruiter. Your recruiter will confirm receipt of the forms and begin the background check process. After faxing the appropriate forms to your recruiter, you will need to fax a copy of the chain of custody to Kroll Laboratories. Once faxed, the consumer reporting agency form should be shredded. The disclosure and consent form and the chain of custody form are to be maintained with the employment paperwork. Now let's review results that show suspect positive. Should your test show the control or C lines in both sections, but no lines below for some or all of the substances being screened, then the test results are suspect positive. With a suspect positive test, you will need to prepare the kit for shipment by removing the collector. Next, lock the collection chamber by turning it counterclockwise. It is important that the collection chamber is locked properly so that no oral fluid is allowed to leak out or dry out before arriving at the lab. Next, secure the reservoir with the tamper-evident tape. Place the cap onto the collection chamber and place the A or B adhesive strip over the cup. Place the device in the Kroll pouch. You will use the pre-printed shipping labels provided with the substance abuse test kits to send suspect positive test devices to Kroll Laboratories. These labels have the correct address pre-printed, and you are not required to fill anything out on this label. Do not discuss any results with the applicant or staff. Notify your recruiter and fax a chain of custody form to them. Your recruiter will monitor the Kroll Laboratory process and inform you of the results. If the lab determines that the applicant's test meets our requirements for employment, the recruiter will notify you and proceed with the remaining background check process. If, however, the lab determines that the applicant's results do not meet our requirements, the recruiter will let you know that the process has ended and that we will not proceed. This concludes our instructional video. As always, you are encouraged to contact the Human Resources and Recruitment Department if you have any questions about the testing process. Hallmark cares about our employees and future employees. We appreciate your important role in the pre-employment process. Thank you.